Welcome, CourtCall. I am Judge Cheryl Ellsworth. I co-founded this company, coParenter, along with my dear friends, Eric and Jonathan, and I personally couldn't be more thrilled to have the opportunity to partner, especially in these very, very challenging times. I personally go back, way back with CourtCall. You are a company that is well known to me, both as a trial judge, as a presiding judge, as a supervising judge. You have led the way with remote services, and I can't think of a better partnership than the one we have just forged together. So I am frankly tickled pink, as I know that everybody on our team is. I'd like to introduce to you Jonathan Burke, who is our CEO, and he's here with me today.
Thank you so much. And as Judge mentioned, we are absolutely thrilled to be partnered with CourtCall and are really looking forward to the amazing accomplishments that I know we'll be achieving together. For those that don't know, coParenter has been around since 2017, and it started out as a consumer-facing app that helped co-parents, separating, divorced, and never married parents manage, organize, and document their co-parenting relationship. The platform's really been instrumental at helping parents stay out of conflict, which is one of the reasons so many judges order people to use it day after day after day. The tool is used by co-parents. It is an app available on iOS or Android, and it's used to document communication and streamline different aspects of the co-parenting relationship. And it's also used to gather evidence because it documents a lot of the co-parenting communication and activity so that if people do end up back in court, that judges and courts and lawyers have insight into how parents are behaving. And that really streamlines the process and makes things much easier for judges to get to the root of things and eliminate that he said, she said. But at the core of coParenter is our on-demand mediation function. We've developed a team which is led by Judge Ellsworth, a team of retired family law judges and mediators who are on demand, able to help parents resolve disputes, triage, diagnose, and ultimately resolve disputes. Think of it as the telehealth of alternative dispute resolution. And again, it's been so effective at getting parents working together and reducing the acrimony and actually resolving disputes that judges have been ordering it to reduce unnecessary litigation. The fact of the matter is that 80% of the cases that are in front of judges that people fight about in and out of court, 80% of them are about non-legal co-parenting issues. And I know, Judge, you have, after your many years on the bench, you've been a witness to a lot of those parenting issues.
You know, not only have I been a witness, but I've been a darn referee or umpire, as opposed to making decisions that are legal decisions. So as a judge, I wanted desperately to have something to help me to clear the calendar so that I could do the things that I went to law school to do. And that was to take care of the legal issues, not just the idea about parents making decisions about haircuts, for example.
Yeah, and who gets Christmas and how to change a week
Yeah.
and whether you can take a kid, your child, to visit the grandparents in Mexico City or Vancouver.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jonathan, you know that's what takes up so much of my time as a judge. That those issues you bring up, it's a no joke. It really is.
it's amazing. And it's also no surprise to anybody on this call or watching this video that 85% of people who show up to court are self-represented, which means two things. Number one, it means that they don't realize that court is not the right environment to be fighting about 80% of what they're there to fight about. And number two, these self-represented litigants are then clogging up a system that is already under-resourced to fight about non-legal co-parenting issues. And that adds an additional burden to the court and drains courts of precious resources that are only being magnified during this COVID crisis. So our first product, coParenter, is a co-parenting tool. It's a consumer-facing app. A lot of tools that help reduce acrimony and streamline the co-parenting process. Since we launched, we've diverted over 20,000 cases and saved the courts over $2.5 million and counting. The breakdown is this: family court, according to new research out of the Cyber Justice Lab, each court to operate costs $13,000 a day. On average, that costs the court and taxpayers $165 for every appearance. And Judge, I'm sure you'll be the first to agree, nobody appears just once in a family law matter.
No, they don't. You're right, Jonathan. That's an understatement.
So when you start to add up what the cost of these appearances are over time, it starts to really add up, and you start to get a sense of what the actual cost to the court and taxpayers are. And by diverting those cases out of the court system, we're able to save the courts tremendous amounts of money. And of course, most courts, and certainly judges, aren't necessarily calculating the savings in dollars, but in minutes. And we've saved tens of thousands of minutes that can now, instead of being focused on splitting weekends and sharing Christmas and who pays for the $25 pair of shoes, those minutes can be spent focusing on real substantial legal matters, which is exactly what the courts are there to do. But coronavirus and the COVID-19 crisis has changed everything. Number one, as a business, our subscriptions that have been driven by judicial orders, there's nobody in courts because the courts are closed. But more importantly, the courts are in an absolute crisis. Those that are opening to massive new safety measures to promote social distancing and make sure that there isn't a mass of people in the courts, which is only slowing down an already slow timeline and schedule. They're dealing with massive budget cuts. And the COVID-19 crisis has also created new parenting and custody issues that we've never even contemplated before, that are making the cases that are entering the courts now that much more complex. So what that's done is it's really shown a light on what our professional tool, the tool that our mediators have used to deliver over 20,000 mediations and settlements, can be used by courts to deliver a whole spectrum of remote court services. And in fact, remote services, as I think we all are aware now, are the only path forward for courts. As courts open up, they have to be focused on three things. Number one, to process court case backlogs. Number two, they need to reduce the volume of new cases that are actually entering the courtroom and demanding court resources. And number three, they need to do what they can to divert post-decree litigation, which currently represents over 30% of litigation in the family court system.
So let me just add this. Let me get down to the real nitty gritty here. I am a unique individual that has lived through furloughs that were cost-based in California when I was on the bench. I also lived through being the presiding judge when Governor Jerry Brown swept all but 1% of our savings account to the court. So it was somewhere between $27 and $31 million excised from my budget. I also lived through, as a supervising judge, the complete shutdown and creation of a backlog for a long period of time of all civil cases. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, because nobody else has had this experience except for a few of my fellows in leadership that had the same experience that I did in Riverside County. The reality is this: we have an emergency right now and everybody's scrambling. We are creating our own backlog. And when we get back to work at our new normal, judges are going to be flipping their gourds over how to go forward and how to manage this. And we are creating not only a backlog, but a new invite to increase cases to come back to court, to speak about what happened when we were away. Now all those cases are being filed left and right, and they're in the hopper. So when Jonathan tells you that we have a mess on our hands. I'm telling you, I've lived through this mess, and it is something that's frightening, but really great if you have the antidote. And we have the antidote. We're an easy sell. And the reason we're an easy sell is because as an administrator and as a judge, all I've done in the family law vertical is dug and dug and dug and tried to get myself out, and I've never played at a level playing field. We come in and fill in the holes, and the ground is level, and we can build a foundation from that. So I got to tell you, our idea of focusing on these things because of COVID-19 is what courts have needed for years. And CourtCall knows it because you've been a remote service provider for a long time. And
Really
you
a
know
pioneer.
how slow they are. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's
are the
incredible.
pioneers.
We all know that court closures, are impacting, 3, 4, 5 months of cases that are now added to the backlog. But the reports coming out of countries that are already on the other side of this curve and are already opened up have been reporting an increase of up to 40% in new divorce filings. As Judge said, our integrated platform can help courts deliver services remotely, can put their employees from wherever they have an internet connected computer to litigants and parties who desperately need their services. They can be doing things like mediations, agreements, child custody evaluations and settlements, and everything from the browser-based Pro Tool can sync directly to the coParenter app so that users can get a quick, easy, streamlined resolution to the issues that they face. Here's
So,
the
Jonathan,
amazing thing. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I think what you're saying is that courts are going to be able to increase access. So we're always worried about access to justice. We're going to be able to increase access to justice, diminish the caseload of individual judges and courts, and reduce the use of resources, or do it for less money and less time. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here.
This platform is deployable very quickly, very efficiently. It's fully scalable, so they can add an unlimited amount of litigants to the platform, and an unlimited amount of seats for their professionals who need to be delivering those services. We are really thrilled to be working with CourtCall, and we know that we're going to accomplish a lot and make some real progress and help courts modernize during this crisis and help them fundamentally move the needle. We're going to help them process their case backlog. We're going to help them reduce the volume of new cases that actually need to go into the courtroom and utilize court resources. And we're going to help them divert post-decree litigation because of a platform that can help reduce the acrimony, improve family outcomes, and improve access to justice across the board.
CourtCall is such a quality pioneer, as Jonathan said, and I've had such positive experience for decades with you. So as a user, so I'm excited for our partnership. It's going to make a big difference in the world.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and we will follow up with a couple of other videos soon and look forward to being in touch.